Before her final sunset, she would continue to frequent her visits at graveyards because, as an experienced tenant, she figured this would soon be her permanent landlord. In this world, rent will not be due. She won't have to be involved in family feuds with such a perfect offer. Who would dare refuse? She is 3 master's degrees in, a lofty apartment with a touch of 2 miscarriages and an aroma of 2 heartbreaks. Her childhood cat has seen better days, but she's a corporate girlie. There is no time for trivial emotions. She's used to closing deals for expensive artworks. She's always present. The independent black queen, she's a god, as far as her circle of peers are concerned. But blankets don't whisper goodnight. Red bottoms don't call you mommy. Soon is night again, and the place she knew as home has become a reminder of vain pursuits. She's the eldest of 7, a speaker at all family meetings, the example other parents reference to their children, a true model of peace. 09/08/22. Tell me, how does someone that present overdose on a bottle of pills? 623. 107 difference from being 2 a day. 623. The amount of lost potential that mental health illness threw away. 623. 511 of those were a permanent sunset. 92 daughters that never woke up when the sun rose, now we are upset. I grew up allergic to oak, mahogany, and elm-style veneer. They stole potential from me. I watched as they sunk them into the ground. I would spend nights on end anxious. It hurts to not have them near. What business does a 15-year-old have dealing with mental illness issues? What led them here? Nothing is ever as it appears because my peers appear to fear a crowd. I'm just a loner. I've come to understand now that isolation is the perfect breeding ground. Someone should have told me that gunshots and alcohol abuse are a horrible combination to raise a boy child. My father died too early to teach me that the value of a man in this world is determined by how much he can provide. That I'm fine responses from men about a battle cry. The body is intact, but the spirit has gone wild. Museums, the size of cathedrals in the form of men's tears perceived as weakness, where men are taught to carry loads, the weight of oceans, for instance. Being a coward is synonymous with the lack of empathy and the fear to feel. We can't commit. We have inherited the absence of it since our fathers left to seek for milk. We have made our homes of solitude and peace at rent a drum because aren't we but trash? It's no wonder we exude the smell of violent vomit. What would you expect from dustbin products? Since when did it matter what a man feels? Boo-hoo, cry me a river like a Justin chorus. We are just paychecks for child support whose DNA results aren't verified. Most of us grew up as punching bags or a buffer for when mommy and daddy fight. We are products of absent fathers. The concept of being present leaves us terrified. We grew up being told, Tulumtima Mohonde, until our hearts drowned in it. And most men have found refuge in a rope, and no wonder most of them are found in it. My younger brother reminded me that we are here for a while and gone in a second. This is for the elderly, who were never accorded an outlet to express themselves growing up. For the molested teenager who has no concept of pregnancy, but her guardians demand an explanation to why she's throwing up. It's for the strong friend whose wrist has become a canvas, a reminder of why they will never be good enough. This is for the comedian of the group, the one that no one has ever considered on checking up. This is for you. With the perfect outfit and pain beautifully hidden behind smiles, you finally found enough courage to finish your suicide note. This is not a poem. It's an apology to those we lost because we didn't pay attention to the signs and they took the suicide road. This is a plea that mental health illness should become a sole responsibility of us all, not just a cute advertisement on a fully sized board. Because this depression is white. It never fails to be punctual. Our better days are on African time because they are always around the corner but haven't left the house yet. I've recently learned to close the tap while I brush my teeth because, bills grow up fast. I've not been back at my dad's grave since we laid him to rest because I'm not ready for that conversation. The front seat of my car has soaked up more tears than combined funeral services. My whole life has been a DIY. I only subscribe to YouTube channels. I've grown accustomed to darkness, the shade of my melanin. There is no light at the end of my 2 grouped tunnels. And the only thing I enjoyed as a kid was being at the back of a bakkie with my 2 cool uncles. After 2 cruel cuddles, my cousin continued to explore me in places she shouldn't have. I watched as my innocence left me. He said goodbye from a distance, but I couldn't wave. Life has had its fair share in its attempt to expose my shame like what the nudist is. I've never felt at home around these orbits except in my mother's uterus. The tales of men whose hearts have grown weary are to be found soaked in pillow fabrics, corpses covered in expensive cologne pressed below heavy tactics, and tombstones will read, "Here lies a man whose voice was not loud enough in a room full of microphones." Northside Rabbi.